Hello everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of the JUSCast. Today we have with us yours truly, Mike, we have Zomi and Jofu. They will
No.
represent the fan base of the MUGEN community. Now we'll start with the first topic. What got you into MUGEN? We'll start with Jofu. Jofu, what got you into MUGEN?
Okay, well, I was just searching for a 2D fighting game that I could play. And then I just stumbled across Mugen one day. I was like, wow, this is really cool because you can add your own characters. And one of the first characters I remember adding was Goku of Forms. And I was like, this is so cool because, he had every form up to MEY. And so I thought that was really cool. And so I got more invested into Mugen.
Alright, and what about you, Zomi?
For me, I started randomly one video of Papa said to play Mugen. Both of my recommended. And I started searching for like a Goku Mugen JUS. Actually not JUS. I was just searching for a Goku Mugen on forums. And it popped up JUS. I didn't know what was that and I just clicked it. And boom, now JUS.
And Mike?
For me, it goes back quite a while. This was like when I was in middle school. I used to look up random stuff like Dragon Ball Z versus Street Fighter, and I would see videos of like Goku and Vegeta versus Ryu and Ken. I'm like, wait, how is this like an animation? And I later discovered it was Mugen, but I didn't have a laptop at the time, so it wasn't until like 2018 when I got one, I finally downloaded it, and I just proceeded to download a bunch of characters like Super Saiyan 5 Goku and stuff like that.
I don't remember necessarily. So for me, I don't necessarily remember how old I was. I was probably 5, maybe 6. And me and my parents visited my parents' friend's house. They had a son, he had Mugen. In 2009, from memory, I remembered a game that had a collection of different characters from different games, different series, and I wanted to find it. Eventually I did, and since then I became a huge fan of Mugen. Now, is Mugen easy to get into? We'll start with Mike this time.
Well, really depends on you find it actually. Actually, I think it's quite easy. I found it through like these random videos, and just the very concept of putting characters or any character against one another is just really intriguing, and I think that's just enough to get someone hooked into it.
So, so let me be a bit more specific. So, getting is it easy to get into Mugen? So let's say, for example, you saw gameplay and whatever.
What you mean involved?
More like knowing how to install it, how to add characters and all of that. Do you feel like it's an easy process or not?
To be honest, I did kind of get around quite quickly because there were these tutorial videos like how to add characters to your roster, how to change the size with the CNS, for example. And the only thing I found a little bit difficult at the time was like changing portraits, but that was, that's kind of easy now.
Okay. Zomi, do you share the same opinion?
Yeah, pretty much. Mugen is not that hard to get into. Well, maybe the basic commands and the controls. But after some time you get used to it.
Yeah. Jofu?
Yeah, I agree. Mugen is pretty easy to get into because, especially since there were tutorials online, like I searched how do you add characters, how do you add stages, and then there were tutorials, so I easily figured out how to do it. The only thing I was confused about is how to get more slots, but then I figured out about screen pack, and then I got Naruto screen pack with enough slots to get me by at the time.
Here's a chance to promote myself. I have a tutorial on my channel that you can check out. But I do feel it's way easier than people probably think, because a lot of times tutorials or when people are explaining, it feels complicated, especially if you're trying to do it by the select notepad way of adding characters. It might seem very complicated and confusing, but it's not. It's way easier than it really is. Yeah, getting into Mugen is very simple and very easy, but it might look scary at first, but it's not. It's way easier than you probably think it is. Now, what's your favorite thing about Mugen? We'll start with Jofu.
Well, my favorite thing about Mugen, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who thinks this, is just what Mugen is. Being able to add random characters like, I don't know, Sonic versus Ronald McDonald and watch them fight. And I don't know, some like in space, like stuff like that is why I really like Mugen. It's just random and fun to be able to do crazy fights or even more normal stuff with Mugen that you wouldn't get in other games. Plus, it's free, so yeah.
I totally agree. There's a very appealing aspect in the fact that you can 100% completely customize your 2D fighting game. You can choose where you want the character slots to be. You can decide how you want the main menu to look like, the theme, the music, what characters you want there to be. The fact that it's so customizable is probably the most appealing aspect of that. Mike, do you share the same opinion?
Yeah, I share that belief.
And what about you, Zomi?
It's just like
Mike, go.
Yeah, continue, Mike.
no, it's just like it was so weird because like when you're growing up, like, you know, especially if you're a fighting game fan, you're like, oh, I wish this existed. Oh, I wish there was this and this. But, you know, a lot of people don't know it's actually somewhat possible, and it's just kind of funny in a way.
And Zomi?
Yeah, I find it really cool how you can put your own characters, stages, even customize characters and stages with certain music or that more stuff. And yeah, that's about it.
Alright.
Also, it's really good that it's actually free, and
Oh,
you can
yeah.
run it on a very low end PC.
Oh, I
Don't
totally
be stuck
agree.
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, Zomi has a good point. Mugen does not require you any video card. You can run it on, I fully believe, on any PC ever, like any PC. It will run it most likely. It does not require a high-end PC, and it's free. Now, here's an interesting question. Who is your favorite character creator? We'll start with Mike.
Well, when I first, when I was actually able to like actually get into Mugen in 2018, the first two creators I knew at the time were TTA and this guy went by John KK at the time. These guys created Dragon Ball characters, and I thought it was really cool that, you know, they were pretty much the only ones coding at the time for this certain part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And but then they both seem to have died out since then, so it's kind of sad, to be honest.
I agree. What about you, Zomi?
Well, my favorite creator, I think it should be Rim because I like his gameplay style. I'm not really a fan of full-on heavy effects, and the characters not having actual combos and not being fun. Either having like once all full-on dramatic aspects yet, but they're not being fun. So that's why I chose Rim, Knight and Insef.
Revelio is a very fair choice, I feel like. For me, now I'm only saying JUS based, because I don't, obviously for each different type of Mugen there's different favorite creator, but specifically in JUS, at first it was hard for me to choose, but it will most probably be Nightmare, because I've noticed that specifically Nightmare, whenever he releases something, I'm the most excited compared to other creators, and that's something I've noticed with myself. And because of that, I think Nightmare is my favorite JUS Mugen character creator. What about you, Jofu?
Well, I agree with Zumi. Ravella is also my favorite character creator. I mean, there's some others alongside him that I like Nep and Nightmare and Insef. I like Insef's character, well, his Kirito and his edits a lot. But the reason why I chose Riv as the top creator is because, as Zumi said, his characters actually have combo potential. Like, you might not be able to mash A and get a full-on combo, but that's the point. You should be able to combine the different inputs to be able to get a lengthy combo, which I really like. And the characters, they play well, and he even added systems like a recovery roll for when you're knocked down and stuff like that. I think are really cool for characters. They're not just your basic generic characters.
For sure, but other creators like Planeptune and Nightmare do that as well, where you can combine, and Incept, where you can combine A and B to make a longer combo. Just the basic A and B are way longer and have more stuff going on. Okay, I apologize, this is an
I kind of
argument.
like the.
But, yeah.
I kind of like to go back onto why I said like these guys are my favorite creators. Like, because a lot of the times when I found Dragon Ball characters online, they were either insanely cheap or OP, or like one shots in a sort of sense, or like cheap edits. And these guys are actually coding them like fairly balanced, simple commands too. Like, it was like down B, and I could actually do something special or something. I just kind of like that.
Yeah, and
they
they still
weren't one
stay
shots
true
either.
to what the character is.
Oh yeah,
Like, it
for
feels like they're
sure.
playing Goku or Vegeta.
Yeah, for sure. If they have specials and ultimate that represent moments from the anime or similar stuff. Do you guys have any favorite spriter that comes to your mind?
Right.
I have quite a few.
Well,
Well-
yeah, mainly JUS perspective, because that's what I've been into mostly in Mugen. It would probably be Lane, but because of how smooth his animations and his sprites are.
Interesting. What about you, Mike?
Well, mine is goes by this guy by the name of Iser Dragneo. He does Extreme Butoldin sprites. And then Joe Fliz, who does Dragon Ball Z 16-bit sprites, and this other guy by the name of Papyrus in Your Friends. I believe that's his name on DeviantArt.
It's an interesting
Who also
name.
does 16-bit sprites.
For me, it would be. Actually. Well, I will admit that Aaron 123, in my opinion, is the best spriter, or at least he makes them look the best. But my personal favorite is whoever is doing the sprites for Nightmare. All of the sprites Nightmare uses look amazing, so whoever that is, that's my pick. What about you, Jofu?
Well, I agree with Zumi on Leanbox, but I also think James is a really good spriter. I think he's called Arzen James on DeviantArt. He makes really detailed sprites, and they moved away from the standard JUS style and kind of improved on it and made their own subcategory of JUS, which looks really detailed and nice. There's not many, like, anytime they release a sprite sheet, it's well made, and I really like that they're able to do something like that for the community.
Oh, damn. And what would you like to see from the Mugen community in the future? We'll start with Jofu.
Well, what I want to see from the Mugen community, or if we, well, not just JUS, like even other communities like NZC and Super Butoden, I want creators to think more like about mechanics, and when they're making combos, just try to make it unique and make sense, just logical, because that really helps to separate your character a lot. from someone else's and just make it unique. And so I just hope people put more thought into making characters and don't just release them for, to get some views fast, or, just to have a large quantity of characters released for themselves.
What about you, Mike?
Well, I think they should be more creative. But going back to the favorite creators, I said GTA personally, I think he kind of went downhill creative wise. You look at some of his characters, like his Super Saiyan 5 Goku, for example. He had just 2 Kamehamehas and a beam barrage, when a character of that scale originally had quite a lot of arsenals in his hand that were severely underwhelming in the character itself.
Okay, so you mean creators. What about the fans? Do you want something from them in the future?
I feel like they should be more thoughtful of the creators, because a lot of the times I see like, oh, when's this gonna release? When's this gonna release? When's this gonna release? Like, these people are humans too. They have something going on in their lives, and they should be more considerate.
So you're saying the fans need to be more humble towards the creators?
Yeah.
I understand the concern.
Yeah, continue, Jofu.
I understand the concern for when the character will be released, but if that's all you're gonna ask, and then even when the character is released, you're not even gonna say much about the character, like just, oh, nice character or something like that, that's not good. Like, show the hard work the creators are putting out for you to be able to play.
Correct. All people care about is downloading the character and playing it. Zomi, do you share a similar opinion, or do you have anything to add?
I would pretty much the same, but I would prefer if people didn't make that much broken characters, because it's not fun. It's for the players, not for the watchers. And people to play more, actually, because I have seen a lot of people don't even play with what they have.
Yeah, and then they say Mugen is dead, when it's the fact that not much people play Mugen is why it's dead. Because they just watch.
Also, I would like to see a fucking bigger community. It has been out for years. It should have. Well, at least a bigger one.
I mean, JUS did kind of start to really pick up. I mean, you have a few creators who are pretty big. We can use Tower Games as an example. I mean, a lot of people watch him. Now, I will admit, most likely most of those people do not play the game themselves. But I mean, yeah, I know where you're coming from. I would like to see, more people really get into Mugen, get into, like, get more invested in what's happening with the creators and the release schedules and all of that. Like, I'd personally love for more people to get invested in that. Basically, more invested in the stuff we are invested in.
Yeah.
Now, before we end the episode, does anyone want to add anything?
Well, I just want to say to the fans out there, anyone who's seeing this video, just be more thoughtful about creators. Like, think about how hard it must be for them to, do what they do. And then just show your appreciation. Like, if you really like the character so much that you're thinking of downloading it, don't just say nice. Like, understand, oh, you think the character is nice, but giving a more detailed comment, even if it's constructive criticism, that will help the creator grow.
Oh, for
so
sure.
Just don't be toxic. Just, like, help out the creator in any way you can if you really think they're a great creator. And that's all I have to add. Just be more thoughtful.
I agree. If you can give a very detailed and a long list of what you would have liked to see more from the character, what you're disappointed from, what you loved, even if it's that's called a constructed criticism. Even if you do that, it's way more helpful than just, I don't know, not leaving a single comment. I mean, if you actually show even if you're disappointed, but still you don't just have a short comment saying, I'm disappointed, that's it, but you show that you care because you take out of your time to leave a detailed comment explaining your issues and what you would like in the future to be fixed and all of that. That will actually help the creator improve, and those comments will really help him. It doesn't always have to be only positive comments. You can be constructive and be disappointed from something. Just make sure to be very detailed why you're disappointed. I promise that will really help everyone. Mike, Zomi, you have anything to add?
I would decide pretty much the same with you. Then I would appreciate them to have an actual constructive criticism. And not just saying, haha, this character is bad, lol, or nice, with a lot of exclamation marks and shit. And also, our friend had an incident, like, earlier this night, that in another server, no names, no hate, they actually started criticizing him harshly about him liking another character and actually playing the game. And that's it, no more toxicity.
Well, look, besides the fans, I will also add that creators are not saints themselves. Many times I have noticed that where even when fans have constructive criticism, you have a few creators who silence people, who delete negative comments. So a message to creators as well.
I've encountered that.
Yeah, be more open with criticism. I mean, fans are not the only ones who are like in the wrong sometimes. Sometimes creators can handle situations poorly. So my advice is for fans and creators to help out each other. No need to, what about you, Mike? You want to add anything?
I can't really think of anything to add at the moment right now.
Oh, that's fine.
No.
Well, in that case, we conclude the, what was it, 6th episode of the JUSCast. Thanks everyone so much for watching and have a wonderful day.